Rangers are entering a period where decisions behind the scenes are set to shape the direction of the team in the coming months. With important changes unfolding at the club and the January window drawing closer, attention is turning toward how Danny Rohl will navigate what comes next. The developments surrounding his role hint at a shift that could have a meaningful impact both on the pitch and in the wider structure of the squad. Let's break this down in today's video, along with all the other Rangers news from the last 24 hours. There is so much to discuss in today's video, so be sure to like the video and subscribe to the channel for daily Rangers content. Danny Rohl is heading into a pivotal period as Rangers prepare for a January transfer window that could significantly shape the remainder of their season. The club's decision to sack Chief Executive Patrick Stewart and Sporting Director Kevin Thelwell has sparked a major structural shift behind the scenes, creating a situation in which Rohl is expected to take on a more influential role in recruitment. Supporters' frustration has also played its part in the upheaval, as the team's inconsistent form continues to cast a shadow over their ambitions. Thelwell's son is also expected to depart as part of the wider restructuring effort, highlighting just how deep the changes are running within Ibrox. All of this puts added pressure on Rohl, who now faces a window where he will likely need both backing and authority as he looks to reshape his squad. Rangers' recent 2-2 draw with Dundee United has left them fourth in the Scottish Premiership and 9 points behind league leaders' Hearts, a gap that cannot afford to widen. Former Aberdeen, Everton and Aston Villa Chief Executive Keith Wyness believes the situation will demand far more from Rohl than a typical mid-season window. Wyness, who has been watching the manager's early tenure closely, spoke about the growing responsibility likely to be placed on the German coach. I do think they've got to be active in January, a bit like Leeds have got to be active in January, he said, stressing the urgency both clubs face in strengthening their squads. There's a weakness at the very top of the organisation here, and they're almost going to be pushing them to do things in January, and that's something of a slight desperation feeling about both clubs, and that comes from the top. Despite the turbulence around him, Wyness has been impressed with Rohl's impact since taking the helm. He praised the manager's composure and the response he has drawn from the squad so far. I think Danny Rohl, he's impressed me with the way he started, the way he's approached things. He seems very level-headed. The players seem to be responding quite well, but there is a bit of a lack of quality, Wyness explained. And yes, I do expect him to do something in January. It'll be interesting to see how Rohl handles this, because without a real sporting director in the situation at the moment, then he's going to have to be more instrumental probably than normal, so we'll see. Wyness went on to suggest that any new arrivals will be closely aligned with Rohl's footballing vision, further underlining the increased influence the manager will wield. A lot of the players that do move in will be Danny Rohl type players, and he'll be involved in that. So it'll be interesting to see what sort of things he favours in terms of their personality and their character. Rangers are aiming to appoint a new chief executive before turning their focus to recruiting a director of football, but neither appointment appears imminent. The club is determined to move carefully to secure the right candidates, meaning Rohl is unlikely to have those key figures in place during the upcoming window. This leaves the manager to navigate January with a slimmer support structure and a squad in need of upgrades. Outgoings may also form part of the reshuffle, with Nedim Bahrami a potential departure as Rohl looks to free up funds for the reinforcements he believes are required. In other news, Neil McCann delivered a scathing assessment of Rangers' defensive collapse after Dundee United's second goal, a moment that ultimately defined another deeply frustrating afternoon for Danny Rohl's side. For long spells, Rangers had looked the sharper and more proactive outfit, carving out opportunities and building pressure, especially early in the second half. There was a sense that a breakthrough was coming, but that optimism evaporated just after the hour mark. The turning point arrived when Amar Fatah weaved his way through a series of half-hearted challenges before calmly placing his finish beyond the goalkeeper. What made the moment even more damaging was how preventable it appeared. The build-up began from a corner that Rangers failed to clear despite several chances to put the ball to safety. Instead, Dundee United kept the attack alive, and Fatah punished the visitors' hesitancy with a composed strike that left the home support erupting and the Rangers players staring at one another in disbelief. While several Rangers players underperformed, the scrutiny centered on the collective defensive effort, with certain individuals singled out for particularly poor moments. Even though Jayden Magoma was one of the few bright spots, the wider picture was one of a backline constantly exposed and second best to every loose ball. Watching the match back on BBC Sports Scene on the 3rd of December, McCann could scarcely hide his disappointment, pulling no punches in his breakdown of Rangers' failings. There are so many errors. Barami dipping his toe in is not good. Miovski's challenge is shocking. It is so weak. Raskin is weak in his challenge as well, he said, highlighting the passive approach that allowed Dundee United to surge into the box with minimal resistance. McCann added, "They don't squeeze, and Dundee United just have that desire to get to the ball first." Fatah shows really good composure, but defensively, that is as bad as it gets. Giga shocking. For Rohl, the warning signs could not be clearer. Kilmarnock visit Ibrox next, and the head coach surely understands that continuing with the same defensive unit carries enormous risk. Rangers' last 2 league matches have ended in draws, and the consequences of those dropped points are now becoming severe. The team sits 9 points off the top and remains lodged in 4th place, unable to generate the momentum required to challenge the sides above them. What makes the situation even more concerning is how the defensive frailties are dragging down the entire team. Every time Dundee United surged forward, Rangers struggled to cope, conceding goals that should have been avoided with more conviction, organisation and urgency. This lack of solidity is feeding into the attack too, with the forwards often forced to chase games rather than build on a platform of control. For the sake of restoring balance and belief, changes now seem unavoidable. If that means dropping multiple senior players, then so be it. Even turning to a youth option may become necessary, at least until the January window opens and reinforcements can be brought in. What is certain, however, is that performances like the one at Tannadice cannot continue. Not if Rangers have any ambition of climbing back into contention and repairing the damage caused by their recent run. But that is all for today's video. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed. If you did, please make sure you hit the like button and subscribe to the channel. We post all the latest Rangers news every single day, so join our fast growing community so you never miss out. Thank you. I'll see you in the next video.